Billy, you're on live with the Red Man Group. What's your question?
Hey, thanks for taking my call. Right?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, awesome. One thing I've heard you guys talk about is that guys don't really have any idea how to come back from defeat these days. I wonder if you guys could touch on that for a bit.
Oh, Rolo, that's definitely a topic you can hit on. Guys that don't know how to deal with rejection and defeat.
Oh, yeah. Well, first of all, rejection is better than regret. Keep that in your mind the whole time. I think that's probably the easiest, kind of little tidbit I think I've come up with. Rejection is better than regret. Taking that chance, taking that shot. I'm thinking, well, who was it? Michael Jordan or something? It says you'll miss all the shots that you don't take. Take those shots. Also understand that as a man, you have a burden of performance. People will fight me on this, or they'll fight me on what it should mean or what it shouldn't mean. But the fact of the matter is that men are always going to be based. Your esteem, your reputation, your respect is always going to be based on what it is you do, how well you perform, how do you bounce back from rejection, or how do you bounce back from defeat? How do you pick yourself up after that? That's something that I think a lot of guys. One of the things that I really get sick of hearing is this idea about confidence. Like, if you have confidence, women want confidence, as if confidence is some magical thing that just pops up, that it just wells within you, as if it's some sort of magical spirit that dwells within you. And if you just knew how to pick it out of yourself, that you'd be more confident. Well, the fact of the matter is the confidence comes from options. Okay. So if you have the ability to create and be successful at certain things in your life, that you have had successes in the past, and you can create those successes again, that is what gives you confidence. It's an understanding and knowing that you have performed well in the past and you can perform well in the future. So how do you get to that point? You become more competitive. You make sure that you're getting, even if you're losing all the time, at least you're out there and you're competing and you're still in the race and you're still doing something. You're still improving. You're still making yourself better. Okay. And I know that sounds like sort of a pep talk kind of thing, but I don't believe in magical confidence. I believe in confidence that is derived from options, that is derived from performance. So getting out there, growing. There's a really good section in Robert Greene's book, Mastery. If you can bust yourself down and humble yourself to the point where you can take instruction from other people, and that you can build yourself up and become, become an apprentice kind of in such a way. I don't care what that apprenticeship is, but if you can make yourself into an apprentice, if you can find a master, if you can find a mentor who will teach you and show you these things, and you can build and become better. I mean, I think Elliot's probably a really good example of this, and he could probably speak to this as well as I could, is that he's doing exactly this. He's building these guys up so that they can go out there and that they can win, or at least they can have the confidence in knowing that when they're working with him and they're building themselves up and they can see this progress and they're meeting their burden of performance, that they have the capacity to create new options for themselves. And from those options, they can derive confidence from that. But Elliot, can you speak to this?
So the question is how to deal with rejection.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
How to bounce back from defeat? How to come back from rejection?
Oh, well, here's the way I put it. Look forward to the defeat. Look forward to the rejection, because it is in the defeat and rejection that the seeds of success lie. Like the experience is what allows you to know contrast. By having a failure, you now know what doesn't work. And so as an entrepreneur, the way I live my life, I embrace failure. I embrace rejection, because I know that it's information, it's wisdom, it's the darkness, so that it's the dark sky so that the stars can shine. You're not gonna see the stars if it's all lit up all the time. You need that backdrop of darkness for anything to emerge. And I love the darkness. I love the emptiness. I love the void from which all success comes from. And usually it looks dark.
Well, I was going to say, it's one of the things that when we were talking about MGTOWs before in the beginning of this cast, is I think that where we differ is fundamentally rooted in how do you deal with rejection? How do you deal with that defeat? How are you going to snap back from that? Or are you going to just simply eliminate yourself from the game and not be competitive anymore? I always tell guys that when they've unplugged themselves and they want to be better people, first of all, you have to have that desire to want to be a better person and to want to change your personality. And then second of all, how are you going to go about doing that? Are you going to isolate yourself, or are you going to say, you know what, I'm going to compete better. I'm going to up my game and I'm going to be a little bit better. Or am I just going to avoid it all and just simply win by not playing the game?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I want to toss it off to Carl, but before I do, I just want to say something, guys. You know, failures, obstacles, you know, these things that fall in your path, your life path on your way, they're really just there as tests. And they're testing you for two things. One, are you going to learn something from this fucking thing? And two, how badly do you really want what it is that you're after? Because that's all it is. I mean, if you're going to give up because this obstacle falls in the way, by the way, there's a great book by Ryan Halliday called The Obstacles Away. You might want to check it out. But if an obstacle falls in your way, and you fall flat on your ass, I mean, you've got choices. It's either lie down and cry like a bitch or get up and do something about it. Carl?
Yeah, I wanted to say that, you know, when I was, I'm sure most of you have guessed, but I was kind of a nerdy, book-oriented, analytical type as a kid.
No kidding.
And, yeah, and what I discovered was the one thing that changed everything for me was actually starting to strength train, because you get out there and you get really, really raw feedback, because you can sit and you can read books for all your life. I mean, I joke around that if I could, I'd sit on a mountain peak somewhere with a bottle of whiskey and just read all day. But when you go into the gym, you get this visceral feedback and you get beaten down. You won't be able to get that rep, but you go back in next week and maybe you're able to almost get it. And then the week after you get it. And that's a great metaphor for everything in life. You'll never succeed the first time you go into the gym and you kind of overestimate your own strength, and you know, you throw 200 pounds on the bar and you're laying there with the bar across your neck because you were trying to do guillotine presses because you figured that's how you do a bench press. And after all that, you kind of build yourself up to tolerate rejection, tolerate defeat, and you see that if I keep working at something, it gets better. It's not great the first time. Nothing is.